Welcome to the musicality section of my intensive. This is musicality from the dancer's standpoint, not from the musician's standpoint. And I will now explain to you how I see and feel and hear the music and how I interpret it in my body as I dance West Coast swing. So we're going to start today with what's called 4/4 time. So 4/4 time, as far as West Coast swing is concerned, simply means that we are dancing to music that can be counted up to 8 beats. It's then going to repeat either 4 times or 6 times if we're dancing with a regular phrasing or a blues phrasing. As we are counting our music, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which would be more of a static count, where if we're counting our steps, we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we add in our triple steps, we have another static count, which will go 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is considering we're dancing to an 8-beat pattern like a whip. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But we're not dancing a swing rhythm, meaning we don't have extra space or syncopation in our triple, and this is very even like a cha-cha beat. If we were going to be dancing and wanting to show what our body's doing through space during the entire count, we're not counting patterns, but we're a dancer counting the music we're dancing to, we would say, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. I got that right there. I got this all to line up, all the integers, all the numbers. And what this means is a few things. One is that we don't start our dance on beat 1, or we don't start the move on beat 1. We take a breath before we talk. And in our dance, as a follower, I'm going to breathe my body away before I move. As a leader, I'm going to load or breathe my body backwards and before I move my body. If we were to get onto the dance floor and go 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, with the bouncy hand and the foot coming off the ground, that could be considered West Coast swing, but it's not considered musical stretch West Coast swing. Now, there's a common joke that says that musicians can only count to 4 and dancers can only count to 8, said lovingly, of course. So when I hang out with my musician friends and I'm counting for something for dance or music, I would usually say 1, 2, 3, 4, and we would start. Because dancers would go, musicians would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But since we are dancers, now instead of saying 1, 2, 3, 4 and we start on the next one, now we say 5, 6, 7, 8 and we start on the 1. Whenever you're in a classroom setting and the teacher is saying 5, 6, 7, 8 and there's no music on, that's us creating a rhythm for 4/4 time music that you are going to use to dance to. So if I were teaching a Lindy Hop class, I might say 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now you know the rhythm goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if we wanted to count simply a swung rhythm, instead of saying the and 4, it would look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you notice, if I did 3 and 4 versus 3, 4, and I use the red pen here to differentiate, you can see how that the 3s are lined up, the 4s are lined up, so the music is the same pace, the same speed, but the and is here and the is here, which means we have a syncopation, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. All right, so the rolling count, and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8. I'll show this with my partner Tess Minnick in a second, but it's a way to count the music so that our body is able to breathe as we dance. So, Tess Minnick, we're going to show you what it looks like to dance to a static count and then a rolling count, still be a good dancer. We just want them to hear the difference. A 5 and a 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8. Now I'd like you to try something. I would like you to count. We're going to dance and not count. And I'd like you to count 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for the first 2 whips. Then I'd like you to count and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, the rolling count for 2 whips. We're going to do 4 total. We're not going to change our dancing. I want you to see how it makes you feel about our dancing to count one way and the other. Ready for your discovery? Here we go. How did that make you feel? Did you feel that we were more fluid in our dance on the second 2 8s? I did. I was counting in my head. Thank you, Tess, Minnick.
I broke your heart, then you broke mine. So I guess the punishment fits the crime. But baby, I've been thinking lately that I've done my time. So I'll say a fond farewell, and what the future holds, well, nobody can tell. But at least I learned a thing or two from living through this hell. We kept on running, and I kept on coming. When I should have been leaving, the funny thing is I still believe in us. But I've been shaking like a candle in the wind, and I've been acting like a stranger to my friends. And I'd do anything to get my fix, but I've got to kick this addiction. You become my heroine. Now I had hopes that you were coming around, but you get me high, then you let me down. And for far too long I have played this clown. So this game of cat and mouse is coming to an end, 'cause I'm sick and tired and can't pretend. Baby, I don't wanna be your friend. Well, you kept on running, and I kept on coming. When I should have been leaving, the funny thing is I still believe in us. But I've been shaking like a candle in the wind, and I've been acting like a stranger to my friends. What if we were lost at sea, on a boat, just you and me? No cell phones and no society, and the world just let us be. We could sleep all through the morning, talk all through the afternoon, and dance all night under the silver moon. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. I feel your body sway, I'm lost at sea. Waves come crashing over me. Lost at sea. Oh, oh, oh. I'm lost at sea. I'm lost at sea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and you, yeah, just us two, sailing off into the blue. I only wanna be the skipper if you'll be my crew. We'll find places we never knew. Then we'll sleep all through the morning, talk all through the afternoon, and dance all night under the silver moon. Oh, yeah. I feel your body sway, I'm lost say. Your waves come.
So now let's talk about counting music as a dancer versus counting patterns as a dancer. So as a beginning dancer, or sometimes it's important to be able to count moves or movements, but let's say we do a sugar push. Oh, if only I had a partner here. Hold on. Hey, look, there's a Tess Minnick. Tess Minnick in the wild. So if we were to count a sugar push times 2, it would go like this. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6. And this is a normal way to count in a group class, in a workshop, when we're trying to learn a finite move. It's like saying in this chapter in a book we have 20 pages, but the pages keep going, even though it's just that one chapter. So now if we count both those sugar pushes in 8s, it would sound like this. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. This is what happens when you have a dance that has what used to be known as primarily 6-beat basics in 4/4 time music that's based in 8. This used to drive me nuts. Especially as a Lindy Hopper and then coming to West Coast, I actually refused, not verbally, but I preferred to dance 8s for everything. So I would go and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5, 6, 7, 8. And I would do everything 8s because it made sense. And for my OCD, it made me happy, honestly. But the lesson here from musicality is, if you can count everything as a dancer counts music in 8s, when we get to phrasing, it's going to be much easier to finish a phrase and start a phrase and have that understanding. So let's try this drill. We'll do one round with you, and then you guys will be able to try this with music on your own. But we're going to do 6 count patterns. We're going to do sugar, sugar, left, left, underarm, underarm, and repeat that. And let's see where we end up again on a natural 1. A 5, 6, 7, and 8, and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a stop. That's on 4, so we start 5 for our left side pass. And a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2. Now we're on 3 for another left side pass. 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8. We're about to start what's called a natural 1. When you do, this is pretty cool. If we have quantity 4 6-count moves, when you multiply those together, you get 24. 24 divided by, I'm not a math guy, but divided by 8 equals 3. Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh? When we dance in 6s, we need to find where the multiple of 8 is, and that's going to put us back onto our 1. So 4 6s is 24. 24 is a multiple of 8, and therefore, we're back on the 1. So if we did 4 6s in a row, let's just do sugar pushes and count with me, and then we're going to do a whip after that. You're going to see how good that whip feels. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6. Count out loud, please. 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7. Give me a whip. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8. So to me, and we won't talk about phrasing yet. When we get to phrasing, it'll make sense. When I lead a whip, that whip is going to feel really good going from a 1 and finishing on an 8, especially if it's at the end of a phrase, but we're not at phrasing just yet. Now, let's say you're doing this drill, but you start your whip early, and you start your whip on, let's say, a 5, and you still want it to feel good and end on an 8. Well, if we start on a 5, we can do what's called a 3-wall and do extensions of 2 beats, or what I like to think of as just dancing extra beats, because I don't think in terms of patterns unless I need to teach them. So this would be and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a release 6, 7, and 8. If we started on a 7, it would go a 7 and an 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you release a whip on beat 5, standardly, the standard releasing whip on beat 5 would end on an 8. But of course, we can always lead accelerations. So if you've never led a 6-beat whip, it will look like this. So 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, 5 and a 6. I lead a compression, which gives a triple step, which is only 6 beats. So therefore, if we were, let's say, on an 8, we start on beat 3. We go 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7 and 8 and a 1, 2, and we can still do a whip movement, but we can make it fit whatever music we like as artists.
What if we were lost at sea on a boat, just you and me? No cell phones and no society, and the world just let us be. We could sleep all through the morning, talk all through the afternoon, and dance all night under the silver moon. Oh, yeah, yeah. I feel your body sway, I'm lost at sea. Your waves come crashing over me. Lost at sea. Oh, oh, oh. I'm lost at sea. I'm lost at sea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and you, yeah, just us two, sailing off into the blue. I only wanna be the skipper if you'll be my crew. We'll find places we never knew. Then we'll sleep all through the morning, talk all through the afternoon, and dance all night under the silver moon. Oh, yeah. I feel your body sway, I'm lost at sea. Your waves come.
So for the next part of this workshop, this is downbeat and upbeat. I have a green ball, which means I'm definitely not going to green screen this because then it would just be invisible. But the downbeat and the upbeat, when we have a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and 8, our downbeats are going to be the 1, 3, 5, and 7, and our upbeats are going to be the 2, 4, 6, and 8. The downbeats are what we prefer to hit down, and the upbeat is what we're going to, let's say, clap on in the music. So we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or snapping or integrating another sound into the downbeats. And a great way to look and see and feel the music is by getting a bouncy ball. Okay, so it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Thank you, Skippy Blair, for this. And Puppy, I love you. This ball, this is for everyone to learn from. Please go sit down. You're a good girl. Love you, little girl. Oh, Lizzie. Go see Tess. So I love this drill because it emphasizes the down and the ricochet of the up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're a dancer who struggles with hearing the beat, hearing where the 1, 3, 5, 7 are, the ball drill will help you. Now, as we're talking about music in general, and the downbeat and the upbeat, and I've already talked to you about how musicians hear the dance in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and dancers go to 8. It feels really similar. The 1 and the 5 in many songs can sound very, very similar. So when you're practicing on your own and you go 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, it's very possible that the music you are dancing to is not on beat 1, but it's on beat 5. I mean, it's also possible it's on beat 4 or 7 and. But it's very common for the 1 and the 5 to sound similar. So don't be alarmed by that. The downbeat, upbeat is really important to know in terms of if, let's say, we're going to be doing a Shag boogie walk or a Shorty George that's going to be moving. If we have the fill-in, the kick on the 8, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 1, we've started our movement on the 8, which is like the breath, and we're actually doing our driving movement, the downbeat, on the 1. So I'd go 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, instead of 5, 6, 7, and 8, 1, and 2. But there are times in the dance, Tess, Minnick, where, put the ball down here so Lizzie doesn't get it. Let's say we wanted to start our dance. Let's say we do a sugar push, and we have 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6. But if we're going to use double resistance, I can lead a kick, or we can do a kick, or she can choose to do a kick by going and 1 and 2. So there's a difference between an impact downbeat kick versus when we need to feed into an impact on the down, which is 7 and 8 and 1. It's a small difference, but it's a very important difference. That's the downbeat and the upbeat. So now let's talk about phrasing. Now, what is a phrase? Well, in terms of words and essays in the human written language, we have letters. We combine the letters to make words. We combine the words to make sentences. We add in punctuation. And then we have phrases. And these phrases are short little blurbs of the words that will flow together. So here, actually, Tess, you're good for a few minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's our first 8. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's our second 8. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's our third 8. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Welcome to a phrase in 4/4 time music for West Coast swing. When you dance to some blues tracks, if you listen to the music of Brother Youssef or other famous blues musicians who are contemporary in our scene, or vintage blues musicians who know nothing about West Coast swing, what they do in their own format for music is they add on 2 more 8s, which means that the resolve of what they're talking about takes 2 8s longer to get to. So the build increases, and then I'm just going to write this down here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you're dancing to, and this is like 99% of the time true, if you're dancing to a song that has regular phrasing, it will still have regular phrasing through the whole song. If you're dancing to a song with blues phrasing, it's going to have blues phrasing through the whole song. Doesn't mean there aren't bridges or other things that might trip you up. But if you're dancing to Brother Youssef's I've Got the Blues, you're going to dance to this. And if you're dancing to Maroon 5, whatever song, you're going to dance to just this in the black here, okay? Now, the most important part of the phrase is the last 8. This is where the build comes in. So I'm going to erase this up here for us. And now we are going to diagram a phrase in a graphic. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Finishes that 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is not to scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's going to take us back down to the bass line most of the time, which means we don't start our dance to be musical with a lift, a drop, and then do a sugar push. Instead, we want to be doing smaller movements here. We build the movements, we have a big movement, and we're going to start again. This is the basic way of telling a story in your dance. So if the music starts out chill and slow build, you start out chill and slow build in terms of musical structure. Because of all the techniques we have in dance partnering now that we didn't really have so many years ago, and we have so much more creativity. There are so many cool ways of being able to manipulate the basic patterns and create things on the 3rd and 4th 8. So I'm going to dance with Tess Minnick for a minute. We're going to count out the 8s in a regular phrase and a blues phrase. If you'd like to count with me, you're welcome to, but it's a video, so you can just count on your own and just know I'm counting every time. So actually, let's start in closed position. We're going to be dancing 6-beat movements and 8-beat movements and 4-beat movements. Everything's going to be counted in 8s. Here we go. A 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 2, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 3, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's the last 8. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So what do we do there? Well, the first 8, we swayed in place, right? The song starting. Are you hearing the same song I am? Because it's a nice groovy jam. So I don't feel like moving us out, even though it's West Coast swing. Then from there, we sent out 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6. I felt a small build in the music. So on 7, I went into an underarm turn. And you know that I mean by music, I'm making this up in my head and doing a build, right? There's no actual music. 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4. I made it more complex by doing a rotation and an arm change, front line, back line. It's a step up from just a sugar push or a pass. Okay, so that was 8 and then out, and then we started on 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this is on 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, and 2. It's at this point I know the phrase is about to end. We're on 3, so I'm going to go 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. And it's got to be something bigger. So I went 3 and 4, 5, and I chose to do a double turn, wah, as Tess hung out, right? So that's an example of how I would dance to a phrase with a build, a build, a build, and a double free spin for me. Of course, as long as it builds, it doesn't matter who does what, and this is all about the conversation in the dance. For blues phrasing, it's simply an additive of 2 more 8s. So instead of doing the demo, I'm going to ask you guys to take a few minutes, a lot of minutes, and check out the recommended songs on the screen here and try dancing to these, either by yourself, if you don't have a partner, or with a partner. So now there are 2 main ways to acknowledge the 1 after a phrase. And I'm talking about this point right here before we start building again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and what are we going to do here? Well, in some songs, we hear the build that's so big that goes on the last 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. That let's say we hit this last one, like I did in the last track. I did the double spin and I went 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which means I'm going to bring her in on the 1, and we're going to start dancing on that 1. It's one way to acknowledge that kind of music. Then there's the kind of music that has more of an impact hit that ricochets through the 1, 2, 3, or the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or just on the 1. In that situation, let's say the build was more of like a rolling build, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So sometimes you want to hit that 1 with something, or you want to hit that 1 with that 1-footed spin, and you're not going to actually move on the 1. There's no right or wrong, because as artists, you decide how you want to interpret that music. But please don't assume you have to move your partner on a 1. You can always do something else and move on a 3, a 5, a 7, etc. In West Coast swing, dance on an upbeat to start. You are off time. So if we go a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and an 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and an 8, you are dancing off time. Now, Even though this is the musicality section, I'm going to tell you how to fix that on your partner. Now, the first rule is just always know that you could be wrong. So if I think I'm on beat and Tess thinks I'm not on beat, one of us is going to be right and one of us is going to be wrong. So when you're dancing with your partner, the easiest way to fix your partner as a follow. So I'm going to follow Tess now. And let's say Tess has been dancing off time. I can do two things. One is I extend more and then release when I want my partner to step backwards. If I feel that they don't know what they're doing or they're not familiar with the music, or they actually say to me, help, I don't know where the one is. The other thing I can do, which actually has a better track record for dancers that are not used to being fixed, is to add a second hand. So when I cap my partner's hand, that allows that delay to happen, and then I release that hand. But please know that if I don't think I'm wrong, not me, but a generic leader or generic follower, if you don't think you're wrong, this could be offensive. And if they're offended by that, don't dance with that person again. I mean, it's just as simple as that. If you're not going to have a conversation with someone. But the third partner in our dance is the music. So if we're not dancing to the music, then we're not really dancing. At the same time, if you have a bad DJ who's playing bad tracks, not tracks you don't like, bad tracks, like a 3-4 time track, and they're not familiar with what that is, then you're going to have some bad music and bad dancing.
Get your blues off my back, babe. Don't you put your blues on me. I get your blues off my back, babe. Don't you put your blues on me. You've been telling anybody how you feel so bad. Ain't you heard the news? Nobody wants your blues. Honey, babe, aren't you tired of living here, looking for someone to blame? Never thinking for yourself, it's driving you insane. You say that I won't give you what you need, but all you ever do is give your blues to me.
Shut all the doors that were open. Open all the doors that were closed. Throw away the shoes I used to walk in. Now I don't need those. The world's made of water. There's no solid ground, and so I learned to swim, or I'll drown. I love the things I used to count on. I love the things I used to know. I love the ground I used to stand.
So one of the things that we stress in West Coast swing are hitting breaks or proudly dancing through breaks. These are both awesome ways to hit a break. A break is when there's going to be a stop in the music, which usually comes after an acceleration. So if you think about driving in your car and there's a red light ahead and you jam on the gas pedal and then you jam on the brake and you go, that's going to show more of an impact of that brake. Versus if you take your foot off the gas and coast to a stop, that's less of an impact for the brake. So there are so many different ways to hit brakes in this intensive course so far. You've learned the push catch, the push stretch, and in this section I'm not going to show you different ways of hitting it, but how to figure out where it's going to be. So when you listen to the songs, and you can see the list at the end of this chapter for your homework, the songs that have the repetitive breaks are called so. The repetitive breaks is called that because they will repeat. So if a break is coming up, let's say on the 5 of the last 8 of a phrase, it's most likely going to repeat every phrase. Yes? If it's going to be a break on the 1 of the first phrase or the 8-1 of the first of the last phrase, first phrase, it's going to repeat. So when you listen to these songs, you'll be able to hear where they come in. With enough practice, as a dancer, you are able not only to listen to music and hear where those breaks are going to be or where they should be, because sometimes musicians will just play through a break, or the song is designed that way, which is great, but I would hear a break, you know. And as we predict those breaks, we can now become more musical by setting up for that break. So if I know there's going to be a break on the 5 of the last 8, and let's say we're on the 4th 8. So right now we're here, and the break is going to be on the 5th beat of the 4th 8. So we go 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6, 7, 8. I now know that it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 break. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4 break, and just hold my partner steady. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4 break, and have an impact that swoops through. So it's not a stop, but it's a motion through. We could, you okay, Tess, Minnick? You got hair in the face. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, and 8, and spin the crap out of Tess, Minnick. That's a good way of dancing through the whole break. Now, I was in a Lindy Hop workshop. This was 2000 in Boston, and there was a Swedish couple, amazing dancers, and the workshop was on breaks and musicality. And they said, everyone dance and hit the break. And in West Coast swing, like when you're at a social dance or at a convention, one of the coolest things is having like a bird's eye view of the floor, sitting back and watching everyone, and on a break, the whole floor like stops. But sometimes, it's not the rest, what's the phrase? Okay, in Japan, it's the nail that sticks out gets hammered. But in America, it's the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So sometimes it's good to be different, and sometimes it's not good to be different, and that's up to you. But if Tess and I are, let's say, on a competition floor, and everybody else on the competition is going to stop on the break on 5, and we go 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as the only couple with movement, the eye is drawn to us. Yes? And as long as you have good technique and you're dancing through the break actually works musically, you'll stand out even more. So now you will be able to feel where the breaks are coming up. And when you're doing your homework, I'm going to recommend, as usual, that you write down the 8s and you're actually tracing them along, sort of like a karaoke ball. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Oh, there was a break. And you can actually annotate that break however you would like to show that this is where it's going to be, and you can visually see where they repeat. So now let's talk a little bit about the universal unit system. I'm going to show you my brief version of it. This was a system created by the legendary Skippy Blair. I took a 10-day intensive with her in 2001, and so much of the information shaped my dancing, or so much of the information showed me that I want to take my dancing somewhere else. The information was so amazing. So Skippy created the universal unit system, and what I get from that, how I use it in my dance, is I use the annotation of a dot and a slash. Now, these two things mean simply a weight transfer and a non-weight transfer movement. So if I go like this, walk, walk, on beats 1 and 2. So here's our key up here. That's walk, walk, 1, 2. If I do dot slash, that would be dot slash or dot slash. Weight transfer and a motion that is not a weight transfer. If I did on the same 2 beats of music, slash, dot, dot, this would be 1 and 2 or 1, 2. So this would be 1, 2 or 1, 2, making sure that I'm changing weight on both of the dots, but not changing weight on the slash. Now, why is this important? It's important for a couple of reasons. The first is that we can actually communicate with each other through writing and share when we're doing weight transfers and when we're not. And just because in our dance, if I say I'm going to do, let's say, let me write up the 8s here. Let's say I'm going to do walk, walk, triple step with a syncopation there. Walk, walk, triple step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will tell you what steps you're doing to what beat. It doesn't tell you what dance you're doing. Even though this is a West Coast Swing Intensive, check this out. Walk, walk, triple also works for Lindy Hop. So you could say this is a Lindy Hop basic or a West Coast Swing basic. What if I did this? 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, 6, 7, hold 8. 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, 6, 7, hold 8. Which dance is this? I mean, this could be West Coast Swing, but it could also be, I don't know, cumbia. 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, 6, 7, hold 8. This could be swing version of nightclub two-step. 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, 6, 7, hold 8. This could be salsa. 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, 6, 7, hold 8. And we can see that we can speak the language of other dancers in terms of rhythms. This can also be Balboa, single Balboa. 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, 6, 7, hold 8. But if we're going to dance double Balboa, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we're dancing triple Balboa, boom, ba, boom, ba, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, ba. That's the same as a West Coast Swing whip or a Lindy Hop swing out. 1, 2, triple step, 1, 2, triple step. If you are telling a group of dancers in West Coast Swing what rhythms you'd like them to do, and you said do this would be slash dot 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 slash dot 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 dot, right? Where you can say I want a kickball change, or you could tell people I want the slash to be a knee up, and the followers go 1, 2. So the universal unit system, thank you Skippy Blair, is super handy of not only showing rhythms in West Coast Swing, but how we can integrate with other dances and communicate with other dances.
I don't like walking around this old and empty house.
So hold my hand, I'll walk with you, my dear.
The stairs creak as you sleep, it's keeping me awake.
It's the house telling you to close your eyes.
Some days I can't even trust myself.
It's killing me to see you this way. 'Cause though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore.
There's an old voice in my head that's holding me back.
Well, tell her that I miss our little talks.
Soon it will be over and buried with our past.
We used to play outside when we were young and full of life and full of love.
Some days I don't know if I am wrong or right.
Your mind is playing tricks on you, my dear. 'Cause though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore. Don't listen to a word I say. The screams all sound the same. 'Cause though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore.
So there are so many different genres of music that we dance to in West Coast swing. Fast blues, medium blues, slow sexy, slow lyrical, jazz, slow contemporary, medium contemporary, fast contemporary. So many different speeds and genres that to be a musical dancer, you want to be able to move your body to that music. And some of us, or most of us, don't come into West Coast swing through being an amazing solo dancer. We just come into West Coast because we love the energy, the people, the social, the music, everything about it, but we may not have a background on movement. If you look at professional industry dancers or trained dancers or industry actors, etc., people who are used to being in front of the camera, when you work with them, you tell them a character to get into. And you say, I want you to act like you are, this, and they put on that act, and that's their character. With certain genres of music, when you're dancing to, let's say, fast blues, you may not want your classical turnout and slow ronde look. You might want a flexed foot look and more like heel movements. So as you're listening to different music, and you'll see the list at the end of the chapter of recommended songs, what I'd like you to do is write down a list of adjectives that describe that music to you. Any adjective, a whole list. And then what I'd like you to do is to dance that song not as a West Coast swing dancer. I want you to dance that song as a person out at a club dancing, but there's no one judging you, there's no one around looking at you. So if an adjective for this song is happy, then I want you to dance happy as you're dancing. You can do West Coast swing basics on your own or dance West Coast, but I don't want you to dance with a partner. And I want you to move to the music, to the adjectives that you describe. Then, hey, there's a Tess, Minnick. It's important to realize that when we're dancing to, let's say, blues, blues is known more for how its footwork hits the music. So when there's a blues song, that's the time to bring out your boogies or your shorty Georges or your duck walks or your heels, stuff like that. Versus when we're dancing to, let's say, slow and sexy, I'm going to let all that go. And for slow and sexy, I feel that I should be, let's say, this song that I'm imagining, I should be strong yet subtle, right? Those are my adjectives. I'm going to be strong but subtle. So I chose to do a stronger one and a body roll, which I would not do that for a blues piece. So, thank you, Tess Meg. So as you go through these genres, adjectives, dance them, and then when you dance with a partner, try and incorporate that in. And by try, I mean do that. You can lead stylings that become part of micro lead follow connection. And that's a way to communicate that to your partner. But ideally, a song comes on and you become that character. Your partner will also become that character, and together you'll have that magical musical dance. besides, when you're thinking of adjectives, you can think of adjectives also as emotions. So it's not just the characteristics of the song, but how does that song make you feel? How does it make you feel? So you can characterize the song, and you can characterize your emotion, and then you can dance both with a puppy.
I can't get these memories out of my mind. Some kind of madness has started to evolve, and I tried so hard to let you go, but some kind of madness is swallowing me whole. And I have she's more difficult to solve than a Rubik's Cube. Harder to read than some book written in the 17th century. Maybe that's why I've tried so hard to win her affection. And maybe that's why I've tried so hard to get her attention. I don't understand it. I guess I'm just a man who likes a challenge. The more she resists me, the more I insist to persist just to kiss her lovable lips. Ooh, 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 I took her for a real good time last Saturday night. Everything was alright. We talked and we danced, flirted and held hands. Man, our evening was so romantic.
I'm a baby and me, we ain't got no TV. Traveling light, living free, playing every honky-tonk in town. I'm a baby and me, you know we really dig a rockin' around. I'm a baby and me, we were cruising the streets when we got pulled over by the chief of police. He said a couple of cats robbed the bank on Hollywood and Vine. We said, no, sir, not us, we got an alibi. We were kissing, kissing in the car wash. We were kissing, kissing in the car. No, sir, not us, we were kissing in the car wash. Now the cops said, gee, well, you seem alright, out for a ride on a Saturday night. And that Cadillac, it looks real posh. But I'm sure I never heard of anybody kissing in the car wash. We said, no, sir, really it's true. It's just a little something that we like to do. Officer, we ain't got a thing to hide. We swear, sir, we ain't no Bonnie and Clyde. We were kissing, kissing